have such sights to show you.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Four Dead Losers podcast. We are two of the Four Dead Losers. I'm Ramiro.
Jordan.
And today we're going to be talking about Undertone. Ooh, spooky. Jordan, non-spoiler thoughts, what did Adam think of this movie?
Yeah, Adam couldn't be here with us today. So
yeah, unfortunately, Adam's not here today. He called in sick.
I was excited too. I knew he was going to hate on it. So, so we put overall feelings. I gave the movie its flowers for great immersion with sound design. But A24 needs to figure out how to properly end a movie, especially when it's a slow burn. Endings can make or break a movie, and myself and Ida left the theater disappointed. A random person behind us literally said, "I just wasted 2 hours of my life." I don't think the movie's 2 hours. And with bad endings, you get left with that. Needed more substance at the end, scary demon voice, and standing old lady in the closet is not it. Kind of spoilers, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And he put my rating was a 6 out of 10. Everything Jordan's about to say is fake news.
All right, Jordan, non-spoiler thoughts. What did you think of the movie?
Ooh, okay. First of all, I don't agree with Adam about the ending, but we'll get to that. This is one of the movies that I went in with no expectations. Like, for some reason, I don't know why, like how it happened. I don't know if, I'm assuming this trailer played before other movies that I had watched, but I had no recollection or I just missed when those trailers played. So going into this, I saw one trailer like a few hours before the movie that I watched just because I didn't know like what I was getting into, so I didn't really go in expecting one thing or the other. Also, something interesting to note is that the same director is doing the new Paranormal Activity movie. So
There's a new one?
Yeah, they're working on the 8th one. He's supposed to be doing that, so I'm excited for that. This is one of the movies that the first time I watched it, I left, I'm going to call it the feeling. I left and I felt very strongly about it. And I tried not to overthink it. I did rewatch it today, and I still agree with that feeling. I think that it's one of those movies that kind of, I don't know. I'm trying not to overthink it. It made me feel a certain way. I'm vibing with it. I think that like art in general doesn't have to be the most impressive or like astonishing thing ever to like make you feel something. Mm-hmm. And all in all, I thought it was a really great movie. I feel like it was the long leg situation for me. But this time I'm on the other end where like, so Long Legs, even though I heard a lot of acclaim for it, and like you, Adam, and Justin all had it in your top 3 of the year, last year, or was it 24? It has like a 60 audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, lower than I would have expected. This movie has a 50, and this is one of the movies where like, Long Legs I didn't necessarily care for, and this movie I really love, so like going online and seeing how many people dislike it, I was kind of shocked, honestly. This is just one of the movies where I feel like you can tell, regardless if you think it was executed well or the ending fell flat, that like the writer and the director, which is the same person in this case, has a lot of love for like movie making and for the genre. And I thought it was executed well. Again, like I said earlier, sometimes a movie can be perfect for what it's supposed to be. It doesn't have to be like something groundbreaking. Now you might disagree with these statements. Something like Good Boy, you gave it 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I don't think that necessarily means you think it's the best movie ever made.
No, I don't.
Or that it's your favorite horror movie.
Correct.
But it was executed perfectly for what it was.
Yeah. So another example that I like to point to is Companion.
Yeah.
I thought for what it was, Companion, like there's no notes that I could add to make Companion a better movie. I thought it was just exactly what it was supposed to be.
And I felt the same way about 2 movies that you absolutely hate, which are Nosferatu and Sinners.
I do not like those movies. Good for Sinners for getting Oscars, though.
Yeah, good for the genre.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, really enjoyed it. Trying not to overthink it. I watched it again. It still felt the way it did the first time. So again, I'm not saying that it's my favorite movie ever, but I'm going to give it a 10.
10 out of 10?
I think it earned a 10 for me. It gave me the feeling. And nobody in my theater complained, so it's just Adam's theater. He gave bad vibes.
That is the curse. Not spoiler thoughts for myself. I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was good. I think really my issues just come into play at the ending. Like I agree with Adam that the ending of a movie can really hinder afterthoughts and whatnot. I thought that everything up until the last like 5 minutes was really good. The last 5 minutes of the movie, unfortunately, did not do it for me. More specifically, actually, probably like the last minute is really where it fell apart for me. So before that, this movie was on track to do like an 8 out of 10 for myself, because I really enjoyed the ambiance. I like how and we'll get into it in a little bit, but like every time our main character, what's her name?
God, I'm so bad. Here's what I'm confused about. She's referred to as Evie. In the very beginning, there's like a communion pamphlet that says Evelyn, but then she goes by Evangeline throughout the movie. So I don't.
That's her name. Okay.
But she's referred to as Evangeline, or when she refers to herself.
Yeah. So every time she puts on, like, because she's a podcaster, every time she puts on the headphones, like, sound design just boom, goes like crazy good. But after, sitting through that ending, I'd probably have to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Like that ending just dropped it, a whole 1.5 for me. Yeah.
Which I have a lot more to say at the end, like a few closing thoughts. And I'm not saying like this by no means. I don't think it devalues what you and Adam are saying. Like, it's not an excuse. But the director did an AMA on Reddit and mentioned that this is written as like the first part of a trilogy. So I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I don't know if that's good or bad. So I don't know if that means that whatever happens, I'm sure it gets clarified in some way in what would be the next installment. But I agree, like, that in no means, like, if you didn't like the ending and it didn't hit for you, which I can fully understand why, even though I don't agree, or like it didn't make me feel that way. Like, I don't think that's an excuse, but I don't know if that was the reason, or if it was just for the point of like leaving it up to imagination. It definitely leaves a lot in the air, though.
Yeah. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the spoiler section of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the algorithm stuff. We would really appreciate it. But until then, this is going to be your spoiler warning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So there.
It's going to be like the Candyman trilogy.
So the movie basically opens up. We hear this woman who we're going to later know as Evie singing Baba Black Sheep to her mom. And just like you're saying, it shows like a baptism book. You said the name on it is Evelyn?
I'm pretty sure. I'm like very 100% sure that it said Evelyn.
Okay.
Which is why I was confused later on, but I don't
I mean, maybe it's somebody else, because our main character's name is Evangeline.
Yeah.
And I know at some point she mentions that she has a brother, so maybe she has a sister named Evelyn.
Yeah. Or her mom's. I don't know if we ever get
mom's name.
I was thinking, which, quick to know right now, is just these are the only two people we see the entire movie. Yeah. We hear a lot of other people, but it was something.
Just the two of them.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's just one of the movies. I think it did well for that.
Yeah, and I guess what we would call a set design.
Yeah.
It was like...
It's in the house. We only ever see the house.
We only see, 4 rooms, which are the podcast, which is the dining area / living area, the kitchen, mom's bedroom, and the restroom. That's all we see.
And we see her, I'm assuming her bedroom for like a very quick moment.
But
yeah, it's like... it was something I didn't like. It didn't bring attention to it in a bad way when I was watching it. Like,
that didn't hinder my enjoyment of the movie at all.
Yeah, keeps interest for sure.
Yeah. So then after that, during the singing, we see that we have this older woman, and she's in bed, and she's sleeping, and then we cut to a title card. And then, let's see. So then I think it shows us a few shots of, like, the house, right? So we go and see, like, that there's the podcast setup, which is just a microphone next to a laptop that's on the dining table. And the main character goes to check on her mom. So Evangeline goes to check on her mom. And then goes back downstairs to the table and the laptop. And she's calling somebody named Justin, who we later find out is her co-host on this podcast. Did you get the name of the podcast?
No, I know they repeat it multiple times.
It's okay.
I don't remember it.
So they're making small talk to begin with, right? So it's like, how's your mom? And Evangela says that she hasn't eaten in 2 days, and that she basically wants it to be over with, right? So and this is where we get the whole thing where, like, the mom is essentially on her, like, quite literally on her deathbed, and they're just waiting for time to take its course. And then this is where we get the mention. Justin asks where Aaron is, and Aaron is Evangela's brother, and she says that she's not around. So then Justin's like, oh, hey, like if you want, I can take some time to visit, like take some time away from work to go visit you to see how everything's doing, all that kind of stuff. And she doesn't want that, right? She's like, no, it's okay, don't worry about that. And then the conversation then shifts into the podcast. They have a new intro and all that kind of good stuff. And then they start recording. Where they say that in the last episode, they were talking about a video that was called I Feel Wonderful. And this video, I guess, was on YouTube, or I don't know what the heck it was on.
One of them, like, dumb YouTube videos from the 2010s.
Yeah, it seemed like a creepy pasta the way that they were kind of referring to it. But that 90,000 people had watched it. And I think had cut off either one or both of their ears before taking their own lives. And I think we get a glimpse of what the video is right here.
She pulls it up on the screen for a second.
Yeah, and it's basically like a red light, and it's this woman doing like this creepy smile. Think of like the Smile Universe smile towards the camera. I think every now and then, I don't know if it's just a trick on the mind, but I feel like it changes very subtly.
I feel like it subtly like sinks into what I would like more of a smile. I feel like the eyes change too. And here they make a big point of emphasizing, Evie makes a big point of emphasizing that like, yeah, this is fake. Like, I don't believe in it. It sets the whole tone for her character.
Which kind of leads us into what their podcast is about, right? So they talk about creepy things. Ooh, is it real or is it fiction? That kind of stuff is what they're...
Justin, his name's Justin, right?
Yeah, his name is
Justin. Is like the full... At least the characters they play on the podcast, because they kind of do break in and out of them. But like, he's the full-on believer, like pushing the scary stuff. And she plays
you don't think this is real?
Like, yeah, no, that ain't real.
Then Justin mentions that he got an email, and on that email it had 10 audio files, followed by text, and I'll put it on the screen, but it says at to nay met with an upside down smiley face.
Yes. Do you have any thoughts on that?
On what?
On those words.
No.
Oh, okay. There's a few things about this email. One, and they never acknowledge this, the subject matter, like the subject line literally says, beware of listening to all of them. And they listen to all of them.
I didn't catch that.
We hear more, I don't want to ruin it, about like the actual email address it comes from is a certain phrase backwards. And then they emphasize when they're trying to read over the subject matter, they say like, oh, atonement, a tenet. And I thought this was interesting in that like, essentially atonement is a tenet in the Bible. Basically, like, I had to do a lot of research for this because I'm not a...
No, that's fine. I feel like...
I don't believe in the Bible. But
neither do I, but I feel like you and Adam are more of like the researchy kind of people, and I'm like, here's what's going on.
And this is something I probably wouldn't have done without the second watch, but it's basically the idea that, like, sin caused a breach in humanity. It's like the whole idea behind, like, Jesus coming back and getting resurrected. Basically, like, you have to pay for your sins. So I just thought that was interesting.
Atonement.
Yeah, like... It's interesting coming back to what she says later on and like just what this whole thing is. I feel like it all ties together with certain sins that she may feel like she has from her childhood that are coming back to haunt her. So.
That makes sense. And so then they start playing the first file, and it's a recording of a couple. And I think Justin mentions that he had listened ahead a little bit, and that he knows that the couple is a male and female. That the female's name is named Jess, but the male he doesn't know yet.
Yeah.
And is basically a recording that the boyfriend had started because Jess was talking in her sleep, and so. It's pretty much that. She's talking in her sleep at the beginning, and then, they're saying that they're recording at the beginning, and then because they're on like an audio actual file reader, audio software, they're able to see like where the blips are or whatever. So they go ahead and skip ahead, to where, you know, some noise is going on, and they hear Jess, and she's singing London's Bridge. Ooh, spooky. London's Bridge is falling down. And then that file ends, and then they go into file number 2. So in this one, Jess tells the boyfriend that she believes him now, right? Like after listening to the recording, she's now believing what's going on. Then they hear we hear the bed kind of creaking. I guess they're settling in. Oh, sorry, her name is Jessa, not Jess. But then the boyfriend like says, "Hey Jessa, what's up?" And you hear like different distant singing in the actual file. And at this point, when we start to hear the singing, we have Evie, and she's looking like outside of the doorway of the room as if she's hearing something going on in the house. Which I know Adam had a really, I think, a valid criticism with this, is that when she thinks that she hears something in the house, she never takes her headphones off.
I agree, which is part of the, like, is this one of those, like, I don't want to say plot hole, but like it's one of those things like that would ruin the, in order for the plot to go about the way it does, she has to keep them on. But I agree, even like, that even happens towards the end of the movie when she's like walking around the whole house with her headphones on. It's kind of like, yeah, you gotta kind of suspend your belief of reality for a little bit. But yeah, and this has a lot of, I didn't record every single time it happens, but there's a lot of shots that'll be like, you know, like side by side where you see the dark, like pitch black.
Yeah, room. I don't think those have started yet, but I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, we'll get into more later, but I just thought it's a good way of creating, a lot of the tension in this movie comes from like the imagination of the person watching it, which is why I think that's what leads to this 50 in the audience score, in that if this dark room doesn't make you feel any kind of way, or these like subtle hints don't give you any feeling, it's like, well, there's very rarely anything tangible, at least for most of the movie, on the actual screen that like will scare you besides that like feeling of the unknown, basically.
Yeah, and like to Jordan's point, I'm pretty sure I wrote in my notes where they show up, but basically what he's talking about the screen being split, is that behind where Evie is sitting is a wall, and the wall acts as a barrier on screen. It literally splits the picture in half, to where on Evie's side, the room is completely lit, but on the other side of the wall, it's completely dark. I think you do see the staircase that goes up, but that's pretty much it. There's no light. And I was telling Adam, and I think I told you this too, that I did enjoy this exactly for what you're saying, is the tension building, and I have no way to prove this, right? I'm not on the movie or anything, but I feel that as though, and maybe this is just my imagination running wild, just like you're saying, but I feel as though if you took a screenshot of that image and turn the brightness all the way up, that there would be a figure in the darkness.
I genuinely wonder. I feel like that would be something fun to look at. Because yeah, I remember the first time I watched it, there was a lot of times when like it draws your attention because you're so used to, in horror movies, like, and there are times when something will move or whatever, but like where you're waiting for the jump scare, you're waiting for something to happen, like you're at the edge of your seat. So that would be interesting to see. I was gonna say something else about it, but oh yeah, it's also, they picked a good way to set up the house. It's definitely like, it's an older house, so it has one of those setups that kind of makes no sense with its walls and doors and like,
it's really small.
Yeah.
So then going back to the second recording, they hear the singing, it's all distorted, and then I guess the two people in the recording eventually get to where the noise is coming from, and they think that it's London Bridge but backwards. And Justin then says that he thinks that there's a message, and then we start to hear static coming from Evie's headphones. And so then when they play, so Justin goes ahead and plays it backwards, and it says Mike Kill All. Is that the name of the boyfriend?
I believe that becomes, we find out that is the name of the boyfriend in the
thing. So when they play London's Bridge backwards, it says Mike kill all. And then Evie says that, or Justin says that that's what the song backwards says. And then Evie basically comes up and is like, hey, like you're trying so hard to find meaning in like what you're listening to that you're basically, putting two and two together even though there's nothing there.
Right.
And that there's no hidden message in the song. And so then they start bringing up, like, I guess the lore of the song or whatever, about when it was written. And essentially it was some English queen, I can't remember which one it was, but she had ordered a bunch of orphans to be buried inside of the foundation of this bridge.
Yeah, which I didn't look up to see if this was true, but I know, and it touches more on it later in the movie, but I did look it up that there are some songs that people have, like, there's conspiracies around this stuff.
Yeah.
There's an actual thing.
Like, I think one of them, I don't remember if they bring it up. If they bring it up in this movie, then we'll talk about it eventually, but, like, Rockin' My Baby is, like, crazy, because the first two lines are Rockin' My Baby on the treetop. Why is the baby in the treetop?
I think it might get brought up in passing or, like, flashed on the screen. Same with, like, I know, like, Ring Around the Rosie gets brought up later, and there's a few others that get thrown in there, but it's just one of those things that I never really, yeah, it's one of those things where you listen to it and you're like, yeah, these lyrics are kind of odd. So
yeah.
We shouldn't be on the treetop.
Why is the baby up there? So then, I think they play Baba Black Sheep, right?
Right.
Forward, and then they find the audio that basically plays it backwards, and it says something like the sheep ate the family, or something along those lines. And that they basically come up with, like, when you play them, or these songs are cautionary tales, right?
Yeah.
Like they're tales of caution, pretty much is what's going on. So then they finish that file, and then they go into the third file. And so then in the third one, we hear Jessa wake up, and she wakes up Mike, and they hear like a faucet running. And in this section right here too, we see Evie looking around the house again as if she's hearing noises. And then Justin repeats basically like Mike kill all, and that I think they go to the water faucet, right? And they turn it off or something.
I think so.
In the recording, and then after the Mike kill all portion, Evie basically asks Justin to take a break, right? Like she steps out of character a little bit, or I guess podcast character, and she's like, "Hey, can we take a break a little bit, for a little bit?" And Justin agrees, and she's like, "Can you go ahead and send over the Baba Black Sheep file, because she wants to go ahead and see for herself if there's like hidden messages in it or whatever."
Which I don't know if they showed. It comes up later. I don't know if they showed what time. I don't know if they showed the clock in this scene or not.
If they do, I don't remember.
But I do know it shows up later, and they always happen to be like right before 3 a.m.
Yeah, which is like the witching hour, right, or whatever.
Which is also, again, one of those things that has to be that for the plot. But like I don't know why we're doing this so damn early. I guess I'll call it early. So late is early.
So then Evie takes her headphones off, and what's up?
Sorry, I just wanted to. He is in a different time zone, so that's probably why they do it so early.
Oh,
that's like 9
right.
o'clock or whatever he's at.
Yeah. So then Evie takes her headphones off, and the light turns on upstairs in the mom's room, and she's really confused about this because her mom can't walk, right? She's essentially laying in bed, just. It's
like when you imagine somebody. I don't think this is insensitive. Like somebody in hospice, like they're.
Like my grandpa, right? So
she basically has no function of anything.
Right, and yeah, it would be like, because my grandpa was in a very similar situation, but it would be as if he was in his room. I walked by and the light just turned on. He could not walk.
Which, if I was her, I would have gotten
crazy.
I would have gotten the fuck out of there.
Yeah,
because this happens with so many things, and she's just like, but I think maybe she's in like some weird suspended, like, she kind of wants to, she feels guilty. She maybe wants to believe that, oh, my mom did move, even if she's like, even if I didn't see it. Or
the other thing too is that the lamp, it's one of those where you can pull like the switch, and it's literally right next to mom. Like she could, if she were to somehow wake up, it wouldn't be out of like, you know, out of left field for her to like click on the lamp. So then Evie goes upstairs to turn the light off, and then she basically starts listening to a voicemail. I can't remember if this is the next day or not, but she starts listening to a voicemail that her mom had left her, you know, when she was still able to, you know, give calls and all that kind of good stuff. Where basically mom is inviting Evie to church. Basically like, hey, it's been a little bit since I've seen you, you know, I'm going to go to church on this day. Do you want to come? And then we cut to Evie basically vomiting in the toilet. Which usually this is a sign, especially in movies, right? You know, people can vomit for all sorts of reasons, but we'll get into a little bit later that she's essentially going to be pregnant. She gets on the phone with the hospital after this to go ahead and basically schedule a pregnancy test. Is the next step. And then we cut and we have the hospice nurse come to visit mom, and they basically, you know, talk back and forth a little bit, where Evie drops the line. She says, how will I know when it's time? And the nurse tells her that you'll hear a rattling in her breathing, and that they call it a death rattle. Which
I have... This is something, and I do not know if this was intentional. It almost seems so out of the picture to be intentional. So death rattle, right? It's when you can, like, the person can basically no longer swallow. They mentioned, like, it's basically 24 to 48 hours at that point. I find it interesting, and we'll find out more later, but essentially this force that they're dealing with, I looked it up to like figure out some of the lore, and it mentions, and maybe this isn't like plausible because I guess it would be affecting Evie, not her mom, but I feel like it would affect everybody in the house. But in like ancient lore, it affects, like, it can make people deaf, blind, and it literally specifies like this person's known for obstructing throats. So when the death rattle comes back later, when it comes, I thought, like, in my mind it ties in with the presence of this thing. Like, oh, that's a sign that like we're really hitting the climax of the movie. And then Evie asks if mom can hear her, or asks the nurse if mom can hear her. And the nurse basically says nobody knows for sure, right? Because like once they're in that point, they're just, like, how do you really know? Which is the same, like, I don't know if she tells her to keep talking or not. I feel like it's the same situation of like when somebody's in a coma, or like where they like, I feel like they promote you still talking as if they can hear you, even though like there's no, you really have no clue. And then after that, we cut to a little bit later in the day. Evie gets a call from her boyfriend, basically inviting her to a party, saying that her mom isn't going to go anywhere, that she'll be okay for you know, Evie to leave for a little bit. Which I don't know if assuming the podcast is her only job. Like, I don't think she works an actual like I gotta clock in or I gotta. It skips through the days, obviously. But yeah, she's basically at the point where, like, she doesn't even want to leave the house at all. Which is why I think she's going through this conflicting, like, wow, I feel like I maybe failed my mom while she was still here, but also, like, I want it to be over with because it's this constant, like, she's basically just stuck there 24/7. She's scared to leave. Just in case something happens. And then... And then the conversation, when it comes to a close, I think it's so crazy because he tells her, the boyfriend tells Evie, I love you, and Evie tells him, I'm good. And then the conversation ends. Which, and I was like, what the fuck? I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that. Which I feel like we kind of get the sense, I don't know who it is. We get the sense that they're not maybe on the best terms or have the best relationship. Yeah, that like, she's pretty much clocked out. And we also, earlier on, which somebody on Reddit noted, which I didn't really catch on to, but rewatching it I did, that like her and Justin kind of have a certain amount of chemistry of like, you can tell they kind of like each other. So. Maybe, I don't know. But I think later on there's another phone call conversation where Evie tells
the person she's conversing with that she's gonna move out of the boyfriend's place or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like it's her brother that calls, because I know we get the name on the phone, but I don't recall 100%.
Okay, so then we cut, and Evie's on the phone, with the boyfriend, I think, basically saying that she's 40 minutes out from the party, that she'll be there in a little bit.
Which, again, a sign that she doesn't really want to go. Like, she doesn't want to be there.
Yeah. And then, while she's about to get out the door, the mom basically defecates on herself. So then Evie has to go ahead and, clean her up. And then the phone starts to ring. And I think this is where we see that it's the boyfriend again, basically calling, like, hey, where are you? And
right.
Cut.
Yeah. Do we get the statue yet, or did that happen?
I think that...
I know it happened
a little bit later.
Okay.
No, we might get the statue here.
Because I know we see it before...
Oh, we get the drawing before the statue.
I know... Because I know we get the statue and she puts it in the drawer that has the drawing. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if that happens in this scene.
No, I think it happens later.
Okay.
Because we haven't seen the drawing yet.
Okay.
Then we cut to a little bit later, and Evie's ready to go, and she tells Mom, hey, that, I'll be back. I'm just going to be gone for a couple hours. And then she goes ahead and leaves. We cut to the next day, and Evie gets back, and Mom is on the ground, like face down on the floor.
Because I'm pretty sure when she talked on the phone to her boyfriend, it was like, oh, I can only go for a little bit. She ends up staying the whole night. It's the next day. Mm-hmm. And yeah, her mom is completely on the floor, which is another, like, well, she's been around her mom. She knows she can't move. But it's also this, like, well, you kind of hope, oh, maybe there's still some amount of hope that she'll figure it out.
Yeah, and it's not like she's on the ground like she rolled out of bed. No, her head is like at the footboard of the bed, as if she stood up, moved around, and then as she was getting back into bed or walking back towards the bed,
like face planted. Yeah, it's completely rotated.
Had face planted. So then Evie puts her back into the bed. She goes downstairs to get some tea, and then when she comes back upstairs, she finds that there's this statue on top of the nightstand. It basically looks like this woman, and it has like a bunch of babies crawling on her or something.
Which, again, on the second watch, I noted that earlier in the room, it is not there. Mm-hmm. So this is again like, oh, this thing, like, oh shit, I'm noticing something that wasn't there.
And then so she goes ahead and opens the drawer, and in the drawer, there's a drawing, and this drawing has this figure that, it's supposed to look like a little kid drawing, is what.
Yeah,
right?
It's like kind of Stickman-esque.
Yeah, so it's a stickman head, stickman arms, but the body is more of an oval instead of a line. And in the left arm, it's holding what you could assume is a baby, right? By like the legs.
Essentially, yeah, like this dangling. Which, again, if I were her, like, she knows that drawing wasn't there. I don't know. It's just I don't know. I've never been in the situation. I don't know how distressed I would be. But she's just like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, like, first off, where did Mom get paper? Where's the ink or the pen?
Okay, she grabs. There's like crowns in there that she grabs, but it's like, how would she have? Is this one of those?
Where'd the paper come from?
If I was her, I would be the fuck out of there a long time ago.
So then we cut. It's nighttime, and she starts playing the Black Sheep lullaby, and she plays it backwards. And she basically has like a sheet of paper, or I guess this is where Mom gets it from, right? She has a sheet of paper where she's writing down what she thinks that she's hearing.
Yeah.
And we see the phrase "look and lick all the blood off."
Yeah.
Which is weird. Then we get a phone call from the doctor saying that she's 6 weeks pregnant, and that the doctor, I think, tries to make a follow-up to, like, for the next appointment or whatever, but then she's like, hold on, no, I want to have some time to consider all of my options, right? So what they're basically saying, the quiet part out loud here.
Right,
is that she's having doubts about keeping the baby is what's going on.
Which I think it comes up in a few scenes, but then she does something that I'm like, bro, you just found out you're pregnant, what do you do?
So then we cut to the next day, and she's washing the dishes, which is I believe the way that the house is set up, it's right under mom's bedroom. And she hears noise coming from upstairs. And so she goes upstairs, and she sees that the sink is running in the restroom. So the restroom isn't attached to mom's room. It's a door in the hallway. So that way, when they're upstairs, there's one restroom, right, for both rooms to share. And the sink is running, so she goes ahead and turns it off, and then she goes to check on mom, and the statue is back out on the nightstand. So then she goes ahead and she puts it in the closet instead of this time. And the closet has like a shoe rack or something, right?
It's like a walk-in closet.
And she puts it on top of that.
Which, I don't know if you're about to mention this when she's closing the door. There's a very brief moment, and Amanda caught it, and I didn't catch it till the second one.
I didn't catch it either.
Where she's closing the door, and like, it's honestly like a really small frame, and like there's nothing in the mirror, and then as she closes it, the mirror behind her in the bedroom, you can see her mom standing up. And it's this weird like shot where you can see her mom laying in the bed, but not her head behind her, and then you see the mom like basically fully standing up. I think that's the first time we see like an actual pop-up per se, like something physically that we see like, oh yeah, that's off.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. It's a good catch. And then we cut to nighttime, and Evie is like eyeing this alcohol bottle that's in, the cupboard or whatever. And then she gets a call from the boyfriend, whose name we find out here is Darren.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to pick it up, and instead she goes to start drinking the alcohol. And then it's basically recording time from here, right?
Which I'm pretty sure Justin mentions or like brings up. I don't know if it's here or later that he brings up her drinking. Essentially, like it was a problem in the past.
Oh, I think you're right.
I don't know if it is here or later when she's more stressed out about what's happening. But
so then she puts the headphones on.
I think she re-listened to the voice call.
Oh, okay.
Prior, like right before they get on the podcast.
So then she puts her headphones on and she listens to the mom's voicemail from earlier, right? The one inviting for church. And then she shows a picture of two girls, and one of the faces is darkened. Where does this picture come from?
I don't recall. I think this might be the montage of when she starts looking up all the other nursery rhymes.
Oh, okay.
I know there's a part where, and I think it is this part because it's when she's listening to the mom's voicemail and she like selects and has "Praying for You" and repeat.
You're right.
And I think it goes on while we get like a bunch of like, it emphasizes the words evil and a bunch of other stuff, and like the history, like we mentioned earlier, about a couple nursery rhymes that have questionable.
And then the mom keeps saying, "I'm praying for you, I'm praying for you, I'm praying for you." Yeah.
Which in the call we hear like, "Hey, are you gonna come to church?" And it leads into what we find out later, that like Evie was basically nowhere to be found when her mom was going through basically the last stages of her life.
Yeah. So then she starts to go into the phone call, or I guess the Discord call or whatever, with Justin, and this is where he says, "You're not drinking again, are you?" And then she says, "No, I'm not. Don't worry about it." And then this is where she drops to that she's going to be moving out of Darren's place.
Yeah.
So then they start recording the podcast. They say that they basically pick up where they left off, right? Listening to the recording, and on the other side we hear that the faucet had turned on by itself, just like the restroom faucet from earlier. And then they move on to file number 4, where Jessa has this. We never see it, but it's basically like this creepy ass doll. Like you can get the doll vibes. Oh,
we do see it later on for a brief. We see it multiple times later, but they do look it up.
You're right. She has this creepy ass lullaby doll thing.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of dolls.
I don't blame you.
At least not like vintage looking dolls with the pull string. It has a pull string on it.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
So then they on the recording, Jessa and Mike's basically say that they mention a baby room, like a nursery, that they're. So then this is where we find out that they're expecting. And then they hear bangs, and so later on in the recording, they hear bangs, and then they both wake up. And then we hear Justin saying that he heard a voice before the banging had started. They replay the recording, and then they do hear a voice, and Evie's saying that it's an artifact, basically part of the file that isn't supposed to be out of, like,
right.
That isn't supposed to be there, and it's not real or something like that.
Like a glitch. I've only ever heard it used in terms of like AI audio, where like you'll have things that don't make sense, or like AI photos when there's like little things that give away that it's AI.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just stuff that is in the recording that essentially what ghost hunting relies on, where they're just anomalies in the recording process.
Yeah. Cue in Zach Biggins. This is why we're here.
I'm convinced the more clips I see of that show, I'm convinced it's supposed to be satire, bro. I don't believe for a second.
I think at this point, there's no other way. There's no way it can be serious. So then they move on to file number 5. And this is where things start getting even more creepy. The halfway point, where on the recording there's banking, and then Jessa is chanting. Again, this is where we have Evie keep looking back and like expecting something to be there. And in the recording, Mike wakes her up, and that then I think Evie abruptly stops the podcast, right? She's like, hey, she basically has to go to bed at this point.
Yeah, another time. Here's when they might show the clock, but it's just another, like, every time it hits 3 o'clock, basically, she's like, her head's just going through it. She zones out.
Yeah.
Which again is the witching hour, when like demons are their strongest.
So then she basically asks for Justin to send her over the file, because she's gonna go ahead and blow it up or whatever, and see if she can figure out what that blip was in the 4th file where they heard the voice. She's asleep in bed. She wakes up to see a pulsing light coming from basically like the no,
I think she's still downstairs. I think she might fall asleep. I don't know if she falls asleep or not. If she does, it's downstairs on the table. But I do know that when we see the glowing light upstairs, this is also one of the few times that something actually moves in the background, in that little door that's behind her. There's a very quick movement there.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
So then she goes upstairs to turn off the light that's flickering in Mom's room. And Mom's in bed, and basically the light was unscrewed a little bit, so she goes.
So again, the lamp turned on, and now
and I'm pretty sure So I have it written here too that when she's fixing the light, I'm pretty sure there was a figure behind her when the light turns off.
There might have been.
So then we cut to the next day, and Evie is cleaning Mom. Giving her, a sip of water, all that kind of good stuff. Then she gets up to put one of those pill organizers away. She gets up to put the regular pill away. And then it zooms in on Mom's face, and we hear, as she's breathing, there's a rattle.
Yeah.
But Evie doesn't hear it. I think there's this picture of the Virgin Mary above Mom's bed or something, and she fixes it because it's a little crooked.
That might be this scene. There's a scene, I think it might be this one, where she moves it one way and then she moves it back a little bit. And the house is littered with religious paraphernalia, for lack of a better, religious photos, statues, stuff of that nature.
Yeah. So then we're back at the laptop, and she saves 2 files. She saves file 10 and file number 4. So then she starts to listen to the blip that was on the 4th one. She reverses it, right? She reverses the audio. And then I have here, Evil Dead camera goes to
This is literally what I was thinking. Because she's has it reversing. We find out a little later, Justin clarifies what it's saying. I think it's very obviously saying come in, and then the last part's kind of hard to tell. And she's repeating it, trying to figure out what it's saying. And that's when we get the full Evil Dead pan from upstairs.
From upstairs, it comes down,
basically,
and it goes to the clock at 3 a.m.
Yeah, okay, now that essentially what the words come in, okay, now it's really summoned. But yeah.
And then the light in the room flickers, and in the dark, in the dark hallway, you see this figure, and it's the mom behind her. Ooh, did you
Yeah,
see
I
that?
forgot about that. I think I saw it the first time, but rewatching it, I didn't notice.
And it's the back of her too, right? It's not her
Yeah.
face, it's only her back.
Do we ever? Oh, there's a couple times we see her face.
Yeah, and the death rattle.
Yeah. Well, I just mean like when in the pop-ups.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then Evie wakes up and it's 3:01. Ooh.
Which is, I found that interesting. Which, again, something I didn't notice till the rewatch, where like, we get the Evil Deadpan at like 3 a.m. right when it hits, and then she fell asleep and re-woke up and it's 3:01. Like, I don't know. I don't know what that means, but just the idea of falling, unless she really like briefly fell asleep and woke back up. Do you know if this is one of the times that when she falls asleep she's having like nightmares per se?
No, I don't know. Because it's literally, see mom, wake up 3:01.
Yeah, okay.
And then she goes back to the file and she's playing it as the screen is dark. Oh, sorry. 3:01, wakes up. The file is playing while the actual movie screen is dark.
Which happens quite a bit where we're getting like, it's mostly between transitions of days where we get just audio and like a black screen.
And my bad for skipping up on some messing up on some details. It's been about 3 weeks since I've seen this movie.
Yeah, it's been a few.
It's been a while. So then she basically comes back, and the file, it says, "Come in, Abazu." Abazu. Come in, Abazu.
Which we find out
is the taker of children.
Yeah. Essentially, like, responsible for like losing your child during pregnancy, infant mortality, stuff like that.
Yeah. And that this Abazu would kidnap children and would strangle kids. Basically, this entity was a person at one point, and so they were put to death, and then she came back as a demon.
Yeah, they mention, I don't know if we're at this full part where she's on the phone with Justin, but they mentioned that like
we might be
her ashes or something got put in a statue, and essentially she was a real person, like a Jack the Ripper-esque figure that then turned into like this folklore.
Yeah.
That we don't know if it's real or not.
So then they start playing file number 6. And in file number 6, we have Mike saying that Jessa was yelling in her sleep. And Jessa doesn't remember it at all. So then Justin is like, hey, hold on. It's consistent with demonic possession, basically saying that like she's showing, I guess there's only so much that you can pick up in an audio media, right? That she's showing, quote unquote, showing the signs. And Evie's like, bruh, really?
Yeah, there's a few times where she openly like just laughs and is like, yeah, you don't actually believe this. And even earlier when like the faucet comes on, or like she basically like, oh, I get it, they have plumbing issues.
Yeah.
Like, she's constantly, which again, because she's experiencing some things in her real life, like I'm sure that she's telling herself that also about like, oh, the faucet at her house is turning on, or the lights are flickering. Like,
yeah. And then Justin says that in Jessa's voice, that they actually hear 2 voices in it. Or he hears 2 voices in it. And then we go to the next file, and in the next one, again, when the file starts, we see Evie turning around as if she hears something.
She's constantly, which I've had that feeling before of like, I don't know, I get the spooks when I have like darkness behind me and I'm sitting somewhere. I don't know, I'm scared of the dark. Maybe that's why I think this movie scared the shit out of me.
It's fine. So then Mike, in the recording, Mike gets up, he starts recording, and he finds Jessa. And there's a baby crying in the recording, right? Is this where he's like yelling at her, or isn't that one until later?
I don't know.
Later.
I feel like in my notes I have that this is when they get through everything through 8. So I think it is this one, because 9 and 10 are when they're taking like the calls from listeners, which I don't think this happens during that.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the ones that causes them to be like, yeah, no, we gotta pause.
Okay. So then, yeah, you're right. They have to pause. Justin, because this is where Justin replies to the email, the original email that they had received with these files. And when he sends a reply, it's something like, who are you, or something like that. Yeah. It comes up with an error message basically saying that the email that he's replying to no longer exists. So that email address was deleted. And then he realizes that on the email that was sent to him, the letters in the body backwards spell "come in Abazu." Ooh, spooky.
Right, which ties into this whole. I mean, because there's no return address, and like based on what we find out later, I mean, we can only assume that I guess the demon sent this email. Like, it's one of those things that they got this email, and we can assume that she's being targeted because she is pregnant and knowing the lore of this demon, and she gets sent that email, or Justin does, prior to her even finding out she's pregnant.
Yeah. You know, which makes me kind of think that, like, this is his kid, right? Because if in the recording, which is really the only other case that we have, right?
Yeah.
Jess and Mike ideally were the two to conceive the baby, and everything's happening with the two of them. Here, now we have Justin and Evie, and they maybe conceive the baby, and everything's happening with quote unquote happening. We never see what's going on with Justin, but everything's happening with the two of them.
Yeah, and it also leads to an interesting, like you're saying, in the recordings, two of them are there, like, physically at the same time, and here we just get Evie in the house alone. So everything she's experiencing, it plays into this, like, is she just imagining it? Is she, like, is she going crazy? Because there's nobody really to, like, there's nobody else to bear witness to it. It's just her.
Right. So then they start playing file number 8. And in file number 8, Jessa wakes up Mike and says that there's banging. And then they're like, what the heck? So they hear Baba Black Sheep playing on the recording. And then the camera that we're looking at basically moves to the other side of the room.
She even turns because she was like, oh shit, is that playing here?
Yeah. And they, on the recording, they can't find where the song is coming from. Like, they hear it in the house, right, or in their place of living or whatever, but they don't know where it is. And then Jessa screams, and then basically the same version that they're listening to, which is like this weird, fucked up child version of it, right?
Literally like just a random obscure version.
Yeah, a bunch of kids singing, ooh, weird. It starts playing, I think, in Evie's reality. Right?
Yes, and this ends up being the same exact version that they played earlier, which is what Justin emphasizes, like, what are the chances that this is the version we found, and now it's in these files, like...
That's crazy. That's crazy stuff.
It's like, and it kind of, we get more into it in, like, when they listen to the 9th and 10th clips, of, like, there's almost this reality bending where, like, they're almost crossing paths.
Right.
What I would consider real time, like, it's this weird, which I didn't really think of now, is, like, is Zam hearing it and not being able to find where it's coming from? Are they hearing her play it? Like, is it this?
It's like think about it like in Black Phone 2, right? Where all of the phone calls that mom gives to the daughter, I can't remember her name, are like back in time, but they're
happening now. Like, they're interacting with the current reality.
Yeah. So then Justin, after that recording ends, Justin looks up the words, and basically says that...
Oh, I think he's looking up this song. It might have been this song. He mentioned something about, like, 2 different cases of...
Oh, you're right.
I don't remember exactly the story behind it, but essentially, like, these people did research on somebody sending this song to other people, and I can't recall if she had offed her own child or other people's. I don't fully remember the lore behind this.
I think it was that she had murked other people. And then she murked her baby and then took her own life.
Right.
Something like that. Oh yeah, and then so then the other case was that this person had made statues of a bunch of dead babies and started giving them to people. And then here we have the camera zoom in on the doorway, and it's completely black. And I want to believe with all my heart that if you turn off the brightness, there's something there. I don't have a way to prove
now I'm gonna have to buy it on digital.
And that with the second person who was giving away the dead baby statues, she had taken her own life and she was 5 months along.
Yeah.
She was pregnant. So then Justin wants to like go ahead and call it quits, right? He's like, hey, you know what? We're just gonna stop here and call it good. But then Evie is like, no, we're not doing that.
No, it's gonna be great for the podcast.
Yeah. So she says that what they're gonna do instead is that they're gonna split the podcast into 2 separate episodes. So everything they recorded thus far is gonna be on one episode, and everything they're gonna record in the future is gonna be on the next episode.
Which is what we're gonna do. So if you want to hear the final, no, I'm kidding.
So then we cut, and Evie is going upstairs to check on Mom.
Oh, she said, I don't think I'm fit to be a mom.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Which
She's talking to Mom about this.
Yes, this is a perfect... It's kind of like the come in Abazu thing from earlier, where the second she says, like, I don't think I'm fit to be a mom, the closet light turns on.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like those words summon this demon, basically.
Yeah. And she goes ahead and she walks to the closet door, and Mom, like, follows her, right? As she's walking.
I can't recall if she sits up a little bit, but I know her head is fully, like...
I think she might be...
Because I know she's a little elevated from the pillows.
She might just be elevated from the
But her
pillows.
head, like, fully turns, and for lack... I don't know how to describe it. She just has this, like, what I would call a malicious look in her. Like, the look that somebody has when they're possessed.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because this is one of the few times, or maybe the only time that we see the mom, like, fully, basically, like, conscious. Like, her eyes are open, she's fully... And then she closes the closet door, and then Mom's back to...
back to...
being limp.
Normal, quote-unquote. So then she goes ahead, checks on Mom before going to bed, and then we get a shot of Evie sleeping. And this camera angle, I feel like there's a meaning behind it, but I'm too stupid to know what it is. But she's basically like on her bed sleeping, and then we see the mattress, and then we see under the bed, which is nothing, right?
Yeah. Is this also the one where it like turns completely? There's one that she's laying down and it turns vertical. I don't remember. Does she have nightmares during this, or is it only later on?
It might be here. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. And they also...
This is where she has the guided sleeping meditation.
Oh, this is during the guided sleeping meditation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she puts headphones on to hear it.
It's definitely meant to give you some kind of, like, uncomfortable feeling, which... I read something on Reddit about it, and I completely, like, forgot what the person said, which I wish I remembered. But even, like, during the title card, they, like, the rest of the letters fade away and un stays up there, which is, like, essentially they just reverse letters. So I don't know if it's, like, a as above, so below thing happening, or...
It might be.
I don't know. It gives the, like, we're shifting realities feeling, like, yeah.
That might be what it's trying to invoke.
Like a portal.
Mm-hmm. So then we have, it focuses on, I think, like the angle of the camera switches a little bit, and we have there's shadows moving in the light on that's shining on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And then we have the recording, and I think it's changes to like a demon voice, right? Because it's like guiding her through.
It is. So it. Here we go with the headphones again. But these are the AirPods, bro. Yeah, it starts off like she can't fall asleep, so she's listening to a guided meditation, and it's this normal like, oh, we're walking in a river or a pond or something, and then I can't remember if the voice, like the way it's being spoken changes, but like the second she falls asleep, it turns into like, and I felt something on my foot, and what was it? A baby, and like, basically just already passed away. I'm assuming.
Yeah. So the what the voice says, it says that you're standing on top of the stairs, at the bottom of the stairs. Blood on head, Mom screams, and that's what she sees. Okay, so
she's seeing like nightmares.
That's what we see is going on. Is that she's standing on top of the stairs. Now she's at the bottom of the stairs. There's blood on her head, and she hears her mom scream, and Evie wakes up. She goes to check up on Mom, and then she hears a voice in the room.
Yes, as she's which we can hear pretty clearly. Like as she's walking up to the room, there's a voice
like whispering or something.
Yeah.
So then she's clearly coming. It's clearly coming from Mom's room, but whenever she turns on the light in the room, it stops.
And she's even asking her like, "I know you were talking. What were you saying?"
Mm-hmm. So then we cut to the next day. And Evie calls the doctor for a referral to the women's clinic because she's going to go ahead and terminate. And then And I think it's the middle of the night when she makes this call, right? It's still nighttime.
It might be. This might be all happening in the same.
Because she turns off the light and then she leaves mom's room after.
Mm-hmm.
And then the actual screen that we're looking at, that the audience is looking at, is black, and then you hear like tapping.
Yeah.
Scary. Then we cut back to them recording the podcast, and Evie says that the recordings, the 10 files, that they're all fake, and that she doesn't believe them. And while she's doing this, she's like doodling on the pages, right? Like she has a bunch of pieces of paper that she's doodling on.
Yeah, she has a bunch of pages, and it's one of those like she's entered like what I would call flow state, where like she's not really paying attention to what she's doing; it's just happening. Her body's just doing it.
Yeah. So then they go ahead and start up file number 9, and in file number 9, Jessa says that she's not feeling so great. She says that she woke up and saw a shadow in the room, and she started praying, and so did the shadow, which is scary.
Yeah, that's spooky. Oh yeah, so this is when the timeline kind of, what I would consider like different realities all turn into one, in that Justin mentioned, this is why I know he's in a different time zone. He mentions, we see her clock that it's 20 minutes to 3, which is a witching hour, and Justin's like, that's weird, my laptop's giving me issues. So it shows 20 minutes to 3 on his end also, when it's supposed to be 9 o'clock, I think. So now their times are basically as if they're in the same time zone.
Yeah, something like that. Something weird's going on. So then they start taking calls from the audience. And then that one caller says that she used to live down the street from Jess and Mike, right?
Yeah.
And that she says that she found. Did she find them in their house, or she knew the people that found them? But basically, that the two of them, the couple, were found in their house at the bottom of the stairs with bags over their head and the deceased baby on the lawn. And then the call cuts.
Oh yeah, I see. Sorry, I'm going through real-time realizations. Yeah, because they mentioned like, oh, that explains what happened to them. Also, I don't know, if this posts the other people calling in and talking about how there's one lady who mentions like somebody lived in their basement.
That's the next one.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you want to go for it.
I don't recall 100%. I just want to make sure we didn't skip over it.
Then they have the next call, because that call cuts before they could say goodbye. The next call comes up, and it's another lady, and she says that she used to live in like an apartment complex, and she lived underneath this other lady who had, taken the life of her baby and then her herself. And then that call ends, and then Evie's basically telling Justin, like, all of these calls are fake as well, just like those files.
Yeah, and even as it goes on, like, she'll mention a little later on that, like, oh, I get it, like, you staged all of this. This is you making the files. And during this time, again, I don't know if we're exactly to that exact moment, but during this time is one of the times we get, like, a really, what I would consider good, one of those split screen moments where, like, we're meant to feel uneasy and there's just completely black on the other side of the screen.
I really do like the way that they did that. I think that's really good.
Yeah, which again, I get that, like, for some people that might not hit, but for me it felt very, like,
yeah, for me
it kept me intrigued.
Yeah, as someone who lived in a house that was growing up that was very creaky. Yeah,
I live there now. What the? That's what I'm saying. When she's like, the fact that she lives there alone and the only other person in there, she, like, as far as she's concerned, is like immobile completely in any nature. I get freaked out. I live with 2 other people. I get freaked out when stuff moves, like when stuff isn't where it's supposed to be, or I hear noises. So, bro, if I was at the house alone, I'm telling you, I would be out. Mom, you gotta die on your own. I'm sorry, lady. Hospice picking you up.
So then Justin doesn't want to play the last file, right? He's refusing to do so.
Yeah.
But Evie's basically like, do it or else.
Which is this whole thing of, like, I don't know, a lot of this is like inner battles where I can't tell, because you can tell she's definitely spooked to a certain extent, but also, like, she's still playing this character of, like, yeah, I don't believe it. Like, yeah. Like, no, nothing's gonna happen if we play the 10
Which means, like, I don't necessarily believe in the supernatural or any
Same.
of that kind of stuff. But if all of this BS was happening,
I
and
would.
it was like we were one file away, I'd be
wouldn't do it.
like, nah, you're good.
That's what I'm saying.
we can stop it here. It's okay.
That's what I'm saying, and I battle with that. In that, like, yeah, I don't necessarily believe in paranormal stuff, but yeah, something like this, like, if this was happening to me, I'd be spooked. Even like I said, the dark scares me because I'm like, I don't know. The imagination will do a lot of things to you.
So then they go ahead and play file 10. And in the file we hear that she's listening, I have to warn her.
Which I'm assuming that's, to me, that's another one of this, like,
Jessa talking to whoever's...
right, like this fourth wall breaking between Evie and Jessa, where it's like, oh, she's talking to the listener of this file.
Right. And then there's banging coming on from the file, and then the do we cut to Mom's room and the closet door opens and the light turns on?
This might be here, because I know this is when we hear the mom, we get like a louder death rattle, essentially. And that happens right when it hits 3 a.m. Like we see the analog clock that Evie has downstairs hit 3 a.m. exactly.
Before that, just really quick, on the file that they're listening to, they say "lick the blood."
They do, which she had written down. Is that from Baba Black Sheep, right?
I think backwards. Yeah, when they play.
So
backwards.
it's like all tying in again. And again, this gives me the like, oh, Abazu is known. And actually, I wrote this note here and not earlier, that it's mentioned in the Testament of Solomon. It's like in the Bible, which again, this movie relies on a lot of like religious visuals. That like Abazu essentially obstructs your ability to breathe. So it just gave me like, okay, the demon is here. Like it's arrived. The mom is essentially dying as far as we know.
So just like you're saying, we see the clock hit 3 a.m. and then it goes backwards 1 second.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, it does. And then the file basically doesn't want to play. The power goes crazy, right? Lights turning on and off.
We get like a bunch of static.
Mom wakes up. There's crazy noises going on. Then we hear I can't remember if it's somebody calling or I think it's somebody calling.
Somebody calls in.
And they say, I want to speak to Mary.
Which we didn't touch on earlier. But
you're right.
But there's a moment in the room earlier on in the movie when she's sitting down, and it might have been in the like, I'm not ready to be a mama portion.
It is there.
Where she's telling her like, you remember all the Hail Marys you used to pray for me? And she tells her like, I'm gonna name her Mary, basically. Which
she doesn't know, because there's 6 weeks, she doesn't know the gender of the baby yet. But she says that regardless, until they know, that she's gonna be referring to the baby as Mary.
Yeah. Even though you said a few scenes, I don't know how far later that she calls the woman's clinic. So it's like, again, just this inner battle of that. But it's like, oh shit, nobody would know this except her mom and whoever's in the house with her. So
right. So then Justin gets scared. Then we cut really quick, and there's a really quick shot, but there's a person standing behind Evie. Yeah, it's super quick. It's one of those like boom, blink and you miss it. Right?
I'm ready for this to hit digital. I'm gonna watch it again. I'm definitely gonna buy it and watch it again.
And then there's another voice coming through, and it, from I can't remember if it's a call or something, but it says you shouldn't have called out Abazu.
I think it is another call because throughout this we get a couple moments where like the call drops out and they're like, oh, and then more people call in. It's like this constant thing.
Yeah, like a revolving door for phone calls. And then they get a call from another lady saying that she's actively going to murk her baby. And Evie then says, I like she's trying to talk her down, I think, right?
Yeah.
And Evie says that she took her mom's life. Which I thought was like, what the heck? Like, when did that happen? Like, I don't remember.
She talks about, and I battled this a little bit. She talks about, as far as I know, she's saying it metaphorically, because she mentions like, my mom used to ask me to pray with her all the time, and I never would, and now it's too late, basically. So what it gave me was like, my mom was struggling and I wasn't there for her, so it's my fault that she's dying.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because that was one of the things I battled with in like I mentioned earlier, how she's the only one there to witness any of this. I didn't know if it was like a Candyman situation where like maybe she's doing it herself.
Yeah.
Or like the dream she had or the nightmare where like she had blood. Like maybe that actually happened. But then we see the mom later. I don't know. As far as I know, the way she says it, upon second listen, it's like, oh, she wanted me to pray for her and I didn't. And now it's like basically too late. Like me going through whatever I was going through with alcohol or whatever it was. Like,
yeah.
I caused her to die basically.
Yeah.
She gave up on life, which again just plays into this like we go through this idea of like family trauma and like having regrets, having sins per se.
Yeah.
And just stuff like that.
So then as Evie's trying to talk down this woman, she starts laughing and she says, "It's too late!" And then the lights, boom, turn red in the room. Baba Black Sheep starts to play backwards. Justin starts to yell at Evie through the headphones. And then the wonderful whatever video starts to play on the TV.
Do we ever get the clock again? Do we know if it goes fully through to 3 or?
I think we do get the clock, but I can't. We do get the clock because it's definitely in the shot in the background, but I can't remember if it's just going haywire or if it actually like stops.
And this is another moment that I didn't catch this. I don't know if you caught this. And again, the only person I saw mention it was the director and the writer, again, the same person. But he mentioned that in this final scene, all the religious stuff that was in the house is completely gone. Because we get a full room pan, and like before there was like the pictures of Jesus and like crosses and stuff. And at this point, like it's completely disappeared from the house. It's no longer there.
I did not notice that. The video from earlier is playing on the TV. She goes to unplug the TV, but it's already unplugged. Crazy.
Which at first, okay, so I kind of like this in like again upon rewatch. The first time I watched it, I thought, like replaying that video on the TV, I thought, oh, that's kind of shitty. But in my mind, I get the idea of like in the beginning, one, it talks about how people would watch that video and like would off themselves, and two, it plays into this idea that in the beginning of the movie, she was like, no, that's fake, like it's stupid, and now we're at the point where like,
no, that's real.
It's coming back. Basically coming back to like get his revenge on her.
Yeah,
and it's fucking creepy a little bit.
So then Justin yells at Evie to get out of the house. This entire time she has her headphones on, by the way.
Which a lot of what Justin's saying as it goes on, it seems like he's reacting to something that's happening to him at his house also. Like something similar is happening, especially since like we know his time switched also. And I kind of wish, I just wish I knew more, because like he's freaking out and it's like I don't know what to do. As if he's going through something also. Like,
he's yelling at her to get out of the house. And then she turns around and the laptop is gone, is what I have written down.
It's either gone or got pushed aside completely,
and then there's, on what she was drawing is the picture of Abazu.
Yeah, it's the same picture that was in her mom's drawer from earlier on. It's like these, like 20 different sheets of paper that all make up this one big photo.
Then she goes into the kitchen. It's a mess. The kettle is on the stove for whatever reason. She starts running back towards the front of the house, and there's the wheelchair in front of the front door.
Which again, there's this quick moment in the kitchen when she runs by, which I can't recall if I saw it the first time, but the baby doll from the video earlier is sitting on top of the fridge, which I was like, oh, that's cool. Like we did. Cool.
A full reveal.
Yeah.
Then the house goes completely dark. All of the red lights turn off. And Evie's calling for Justin and nothing. And like this is where we start. We've been in that. Once everything goes haywire, I'm like glued to the screen, right?
Yeah. Which Justin, this is interesting because everything after like such a chaotic moment, everything goes black. And I feel like she's standing in the dark. Like, it's, again, you're kind of waiting for a pop-up or something to happen. And it just brought back to my mind that earlier in the podcast, or earlier in the movie, the end of their podcast thing is like, I can't recall exactly what the first part of the phrase is, but it's essentially like, don't be afraid of this, be afraid of silence. Which I felt like this was just a perfect moment in the movie to like, damn, everything's still for a second.
And then there's calls for Abazu, scary, and the lights turn on, and all of the staircase is covered with pictures of Abazu.
Yeah. Literally covered.
Yeah. So then she goes to the second floor, and Justin basically saying like, no, that he'll be there, right? Like he's on it. He's gonna start driving over.
Yeah.
And then she goes into Mom's room, and I think this is really nicely done, where as she's walking into the room or towards the room and then eventually into the room, there's a shot, like quick couple frames of I'm pretty sure it's her, but she has like a bag over her head.
We get this a couple times, like in and out, which again, that's what clicked earlier. I didn't realize that they mentioned that in the recordings of the tape, that like, or when the person calls that the people from the tape were found with bags on their head.
Yeah. And then as she's walking towards the door, the light in the hallway goes out. She makes it into Mom's room. She opens the door, and on Mom's bed is only the statue, and Mom's in the closet. So the way that we see it is we see Evie standing next to the bed, and then there's a dresser that has a mirror, and in the mirror we're able to see the closet and Mom with her back towards the mirror, or I guess towards the room, standing there.
The room is like essentially what you would do if somebody died. Like the room's completely, the bed's made, everything's basically cleaned out from what we can tell.
And then we hear basically Evie screaming for Justin. There's babies crying, and Abazu, we hear it backwards. The Mom walks backwards.
This part creeped me out. This is a nice, like, right in the reflection we see her like walk backwards as she goes into the room.
Yeah.
So damn. So
and then the movie cuts and then
from what I'm getting, based on the way you're talking about it, doesn't seem like you disliked any of this. So is this the part that you dislike? Like where it cuts off?
The Mom walking backwards.
Like you're upset that there's nothing past that.
Yes. So
I thought all this you were gonna
No. So in my mind, what would have made this a nice, like, would have tied the bow perfectly would have been like if Mom fell or if she had walked backwards or something, and in the mirror revealed like Abazu.
Right.
I think that would have, and it doesn't have to be anything like. When I was talking to Adam about it, I was saying like it could just be like a picture. They don't have to go all out, right? But just like some kind of smile demon,
right?
And then boom, and then that's it.
Again, I don't know if this decision was made because of the idea of like, oh, I wrote this as three parts to where like, oh, it can't have this final ending. Because the movie cuts out and we get a pretty long, I would say like 30 seconds.
Nothing
of like just auditory stuff where we hear like maybe she's yelling, I don't recall. We hear like struggle, we hear something, what I would assume falling down the stairs. She yells a little more. Oh, and then it finishes with like the come in Abazu thing backwards like a bunch of times, which again is one of those things like we're just left on our own to decide what happened because we can't visually see any of it and it's not very clear.
Like I said, all of that is perfectly fine.
Okay,
I just wish that, like, when
the final ending, that was a point and a half. Well, that's fair. It's
the very, very last of it, right? Like, just show. You don't even have to show the whole thing. You could just show like some kind of figure or something that's revealed when Mom walks out, and that would have been it for me.
That's fair. I didn't mind it. Like I liked it. I wish it's one of those movies that again because it ends like that. Like we don't have a clear, even like if it would have showed the demon, even then we wouldn't necessarily have a clear like idea of what happens after. But it's the fact that it plays just the audio that like it's like almost the ultimate tease of like, damn, I have no clue what's going on. And I found out again, the director stated that this started off as what would have been a radio play, so it would have been audio only. And then he basically went through the passing of one of his own parents, which made him turn it into like this more elaborate movie. So I don't know if it's that idea that like. If this was like a scripted podcast we were listening to, we would only be getting the audio to finish it off, and it would have been this cliffhanger.
That would have been pretty cool.
He also mentions this is gonna be unpopular. Well, actually, it might be really popular. He mentions like, oh, this movie was inspired by The Exorcist, Blair Witch Project, Paranormal Activity. I've never seen Blair Witch Project. Obviously, I see the Paranormal Activity like kind of idea sprinkled in, but a lot of people online compare this to like Skinamarink, which. I've only seen it once, and when I try to recall it, I genuinely have no idea what the plot was. And that was one of those movies. I love Justin, our Justin, Four Dead Losers Justin, and I'm usually on the same terms with him. I'm very like just neutral on that movie. That like some people were saying that movie was better than this, and to me it's like no comparison. Like Skinamarink didn't really do anything for me. It felt very found footage in a way that I had no clue what was going on. So I don't know. Some people were comparing it to that, and I'm like,
I still haven't seen it. I need to watch Skinamarink.
But also, what else was I gonna say? Also, like, this was just an interesting tidbit. The director mentioned, I don't know where he stands. I didn't look up his like religious beliefs, and I don't know how that plays into it. I don't know since it's kind of based on his own experience of his parent passing. I don't know if he shares some of those, like, oh, my parent was religious, I wasn't, I feel like I let them down. But he mentions that, like, prior to filming this movie, he didn't really believe in demons or anything, which tells me, like, I feel like a lot of religious people tend to believe in that, just because it's kind of this whole idea of, like, repenting or you go to hell. Like, I feel like you have to believe. But that during the filming of this movie, he started to actually believe it. So I kind of want to know the story behind that. Like, I don't know if it's just getting in your own head about it. Also, I saw just a quick note on Reddit, and I looked it up right now, and there's a few people who mentioned it on social media or like wrote their own article about it. Some people took away like a pro-life message from this. I personally don't get that, and mostly because like there might be this idea that, like, it clicked to me while we were recording this that, like, oh, she calls the clinic and after that is when she suffers. So, like, oh, it's this idea that you're paying for your sins. I don't think those are the sins she's paying for, and especially because in the recordings that they're listening to, the couple kept their child and planned on keeping their child. So I don't know if that's just people hunting for some kind of message, but yeah, overall I thought it was a really great movie.
Yeah.
So we'll see how 2 and 3.
So that was Undertone. The next movie we're going to be covering is going to be the Amityville Horror, but I think it came out in 2005 one with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh my god! I want to know how this movie actually, the one Undertone has made $20 million. I'm pretty sure it's run just ended a few days ago on like a $500,000 budget, which is pretty impressive. But yeah, I don't know. I don't be picking some movies. I want to know how this one did.
How the Amityville Horror did? With Ryan Reynolds.
If he's on the Deadpool suit, I don't want it.
So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the algorithm stuff. We would really appreciate it. But until then, y'all have a good day.